So today we have the Dragon deck that finished in the top 16 of Grand Prix Shanghai. It was designed by Makihito Mihara, Pro Tour Hall of Famer, and just overall great deck builder. So it only made top 16, but it put two people in the top 16. It was Mihara and Yuya Watanabe. And I don't know, for me personally, it was like, oh, these guys only made top 16. Like Mihara and Yuya both have made top 8 with decks like that are not great, you know, like certainly decks that have issues and stuff. So it's like, well, if they only made top 16, maybe this deck's not very good. But I played a daily with this yesterday, very easily went 4-0, and I'm convinced. I'm sold. I think this deck is great, so I want to try it out today for this video. And it's basically just trying to go over the top of everyone else with a bunch of Dragon Lords. And in order to get there, you have the Sylvan Caryatid Corsair Crew Fix package, which basically everyone knows at this point is very, very good, very powerful. You have a lot of toughness to block early creatures. Corsair and Caryatid do a lot of work to fix your mana and make sure that you get to cast your big spells on time. And this deck also integrates Den Protector and Deathmist Raptor as a way to both grind people out and also provide some much needed defense. So Deathmist Raptor very good at blocking, but you know, sometimes is just like a little beater against control too. And Satyr Wayfinder helps set all that up. Maybe helps put some raptors in the yard or put some good stuff in the yard for Den Protector to get back. Satyr Wayfinder can also find a Haven of the Spirit Dragon, which can then translate into a big threat. So Satyr Wayfinder is generally only used as a thing to fill your graveyard and to give you a land and, you know, maybe chump block or kill a Foundry Street Denizen or something. But in this deck, you can actually Satyr Wayfinder for an insane dragon. So this deck has a ton of synergy already going on. And then there are also just like some Thought Seizes and a few removal spells to make sure that you don't get run over in the early game. And then yeah, you have Dragon Lord Ojutai, which is obviously great, and we've seen me play some Ojutai Abzan in the past, and it was pretty good here, or pretty good there, and it's also pretty much doing the same thing here, where you play it and they have to keep a bunch of mana open to kill it, and if they do that, then they're just losing a lot of tempo, or you just slam Dramoka the next turn, and then you get a free hit in with Ojutai, and they left open mana, so they didn't get to, you know, do whatever they wanted that turn, and then you end up with 2 dragons, plus you get a free card, and it's really tough for them to come back from that. And then we have Silumgar to deal with stuff like Elspeth, and to take things like Stormbreath Dragon, so Silumgar's also been quite good. And then I added a second Atarko, which might be a mistake, because like no one else has done it, but I felt like Atarko was one of the big selling points to playing a deck like this, where you just get to slam it against an Elspeth or something. That's pretty much it for the main deck. Mana base has been pretty solid. I haven't seen anyone messing around with it too much, so gonna keep it as is for now. I haven't really felt any need to change it or anything. And then the sideboard is a bunch of cards for mono red, basically. We have Foul Tongue Invocation, Drown in Sorrow. Ultimate Price is decent against them. And then some Duresses, which also double as Control Hate. And then another Dramoka, which is generally pretty good against other Dragon decks, other control decks, and not so good against decks with a bunch of removal like Abzan. So I've basically been siding out Dramokas against them. Silumgar the Drifting Death is a nice way to stabilize against Elspeth, and is also quite good against smaller creature decks. But Drifting Death is also good because it has a attack trigger of like when you attack with a dragon. So if you have multiple dragons in play, you actually get to like -X their team, which is pretty nice. And then Ugin is the big finisher against Abzan control, and someone suggested this on my stream, and I like it a lot. I haven't actually played with it yet, but it seems very, very good. I've definitely played some games where the boards get kind of muddled, and you know, you could really use this big sweeper card, and since you have the Satyr Wayfinder Haven of the Spirit Dragon package, you have Ugin to just kind of reset things. So you have this nice little late game thing to play for. And there's not really many ways to exile it. You know, if they're killing it with Hero's Downfall or by attacking it. You know, maybe some people have an Utter Interior there, but for the most part, Ugin is going to be around. It's going to be there to stay. Then the last card is another Hero's Downfall, which I cut an ultimate price for from the list that I was working off of, which was Medvedev, who is this dude that plays a lot of Magic Online and generally does pretty well. His lists always look really good. And Hero's Downfall is basically because I'm scared of Ashiok. So This could be another ultimate price potentially, but that's it. The sideboard's super narrow just because like the main deck is kind of hating on the entirety of standard right now, aside from mono red, and the mono red matchup surprisingly is actually not that bad. So that's about it, and hopefully we can replicate the results I had yesterday, which again was a 4-0. So kind of a big deal, got a lot to live up to, but I think we can do it.